Hello there, RC. I'm going to do a video on medium factory house rule. I had a house rule for version 2. This one's currently version 3. The reason for that house rule, and yes, I have a monster sweeping my factories around, so the timing is just perfect. So we're going to start over in Japan, because that'll make more sense. The reason we had a house rule, and you'll find with Japan it's relatively simple to build a lot of units here and then transport them by sea to the coast, right? However, you're allowed to build a factory up here and it can only build one unit, which is virtually useless. 1 unit per turn costs you a turn to spend $8 just to build the factory, and you can only ever build 1 unit at a turn, right? So the odds of being able to build more is limited. Another prime location for that here is India is not home country, and you can only build single minor factories. So let's grab a couple of blue French ones so they're easier to see, because that one's almost invisible. So you got a factory there and you're spending money and costs you $8 and you can build 1 unit per turn, and then you got to do it again and now you can build 2 units per turn, and then you got a different color one here. Then you build the 3rd one, and now you got the equivalent of a medium factory, and you had to spend 3 turns at 8 to do that, whereas the upgrade to this from what you originally started would have been 1 turn at 7, and you'd be allowed to produce those same 3 units. Yes, pistachio. I just moved that. Anyhow, so you're at a distinct disadvantage, and this is one of the reasons why we had inputted the ability to build medium factories. And in my house rule, it was in all locations where you could build a minor, not just home country. The ability to build medium factories in home country is negated by the ability to build major factories, so it didn't really change much. In fact, a lot of the times in version 2 this would have been 2 major factories, and now they've downgraded one of them to a medium. The only thing that the medium factories rules has actually done is given you an option to build medium factories in other places, but it's also downgraded some factories that were medium or were major to medium. It has, however, also upgraded some factories, like in Russia, for example. This medium used to be a minor, but now it's been upgraded. So it's problematic. Now, in areas where you have, give me a second here to rearrange this stuff. Oh, the tail's not sweeping it around. In sections where you have no ability to use transports to move your units, you're going to have to rely on ground movement. And especially with the limited gauge changes, possibility for rail movement, everything's going to have to stop here. It can't cross over. So you end up having to stop here and then move 1 move per turn. So if Germany takes over the 2 white factories there in Poland and in Romania, they would then have to do the same thing. They'd have to do this, right, to upgrade these to the same level as medium. Now, the issue I have with this is so cost prohibitive, it's never going to happen. So what we always ended up having in our games is the games seemed to last too long and we could never get a clear winner as a result of the extended transport time it takes to move units from factories in the home country over into Russia, or factories in the Russian home country over this way. So what we've done is, let's take France for example. If France gets captured, it gets downgraded to a minor factory as per the rules. I got no problem with that. However, you are, according to this house rule, capable to upgrade this to a medium, even though it's outside of the home country. And if the French ever get it liberated back, it will revert again to a major factory. Nothing changes there. The only thing we've done is anywhere you can build a minor, you can upgrade to a medium. And in that case, if you capture an annexation, you would be able to keep the status of the factory as you capture it, just like you would if it was a minor factory. All right. So that's basically it. And the biggest problem we were having is you get close to the end of the turn and you just get a stalemate where right around here, the transportation routes to get units there was so far that you never really got a deep push into Moscow, and you never really get a deep push into Berlin. So it kind of affected things in a negative way. Because if Russia comes in, they should also be able to upgrade this to a medium and use this to get units into Germany faster. Same thing with Romania. Does that make sense? And that way, if you wanted to, you could build an additional second medium factory in here. And now you can produce 6. And these 6 units that you're producing a turn would be able to reasonably compete with the factory over here, or the factories over here. Not to the same level, but right? Same thing if you're trying to push into Russia. If you had to move all your units into Russia from there and from here down to Romania and through, it would take you forever. And it really technically does. Sometimes it takes 4 turns to get to this city with your units because you have limited rail. You're always trying to push your guys out. So this way, should Germany capture this or Russia keep this, they can upgrade. Russia can already upgrade this, but Germany takes it, they can upgrade it to a medium. And you then use this to attack all these many factories that are close by. It's still going to be under serious assault because it's closer to the home country's production. But it does give you an option to actually have a chance to finish this thing and get a decision. I find that the base rules for the medium factories left us with the same problems we had with the minor factories in version 2, which is why 3 years ago we made this medium factory rule. And they've kind of incorporated some of the stuff that I had in my house rule, but not to a level that I would say was effective enough for the purposes of our games as we played them. And this is obviously a personal choice and it's a personal preference. I'm not saying that the rules in the game are wrong. I just find that it makes it very slow and sloggy to get anywhere, especially with all the rules with mountain territory where you can't, even if you own both mountain territories, you can't even move a tank to here in one turn. You got to go 1 and then 2 and then 3. Well, that's 3 turns just to get down into Greece, which is kind of unrealistic. If you own the territory and you have the roads that are there, it shouldn't take you that long. I mean, I understand you can't fight through it, but just being able to non-combat move through is something that has really slowed the game down. Plus, with all the additional terrains they put in, like the desert in Africa and the jungles down here, it's made it virtually impossible to get any units anywhere, increasing the need to have these medium factories in this house rule. So yeah, that's it. House rules, basically anywhere that there's a minor factory, you can upgrade it to a medium. It's that simple. You can try it out or give me some thoughts on different ways to do it. I'll happily take comments that say, hey, I disagree for this, or why don't you try that? I always enjoy that kind of stuff. This house rule is just a natural playstyle progression, and maybe we haven't tried something that you have that might work better. All right, thank you. RC saying thank you, see you later, and enjoy your game.